Jinhsi goes wild and so do I. And today, I'm gonna teach you how to build her best. Jinhsi's best set is of course the 4-piece Celestial Light. Withering Waves is a young game, so it's just a matter of putting a square block in the square hole. So a Spectral DPS uses a Spectral set, surprise. But alternatively, you can use a 2-piece combo of Spectral plus attack percent since they drop in the same tasseled field anyway. You can also go for a Spectral and Moonlit combo, where Moonlit is just to help her in the energy department. Speaking of energy, Jinhsi needs about 125% to 135% ER. That assumes that you do about 2 half rotations. If you manage to swap more often into Jinhsi, her ER requirement can be lowered. And if you manage to swap into Jinhsi with every intro skill, you can get her requirement down to 105 to 115%. But this won't work every single time due to her unison effect cooldown, so expect it to be a little bit clunky. As for her main stats, you want for the 1 cost to be attack percent. For the 3 cost, you want either spectral damage or alternatively attack percent. For the 4 cost, you want it to be either crit rate or crit damage. Best setup would be for you to go for 4-3-3-1-1, which means crit spectral attack. You can also replace 1 spectral percent with an attack percent. Or you go for 4-4-1-1-1 with crit attack. Jinhsi gets 8% crit from her talents, and if you settle with her signature, you can get away with a double crit damage. But if not, 1 crit rate and 1 crit damage will be your most likely bet. As for Jinhsi's substats, make sure to first get energy until you have 130%. Then you go for crit, attack percent, skill percent, ultimate percent, or flat attack. Aegis of Harvest is her best in slot, giving crit rate and high base attack, while also getting a lot of skill damage, which is her biggest source of damage. Jian's weapon, the Verdant Summit, is just a strong stat stick, giving you a high base attack and crit damage. It's the same with Lustrous Razor, but instead giving attack as a second stat and ultimate damage and energy from its passive. Helios Cleaver is the best 4-star weapon, giving attack after Jinhsi's skill is cast, because Jinhsi starts the rotation with her skill and has therefore plenty of time to stack before her nuke goes off. Broadblade number 41 is a decent pick for the energy recharge department and provides a chunk of attack if you're above 80% HP. Since Jinhsi can need up to 30% ER, the additional energy is not wasted. Autumn Trace has a good amount of crit on it with respectable base attack, but a passive that cannot be stacked effectively on Jinhsi. Broadblade of Night is the ultimate poverty option, nothing much more to say about that. Jinhsi's mechanics really like coordinated attacks, so that is what her teams are based around. Her best team will have Yinlin and Verena. Verena is already the best healer, has a very low field time, strong heals and good team-wide buffing as well. Yinlin does the most damage out of any sub DPS, so that makes her a natural option. Another character to use if you don't have Yinlin is Mortafi. Not as good as Yinlin due to lower damage output, but has a lot of coordinated attacks himself. He can use a Static Mist and Moonlit Cloud set to buff up Jinhsi. If you happen to also not own Mortafi, like what are you doing with your life? You are low-key out of luck. But Yuan Wu exists. Guy does Kamisato art 0 damage, and his whole purpose is to stack Jinhsi's skill. Sanhua has a short field time, so that's good, but her intro skill is useless to Jinhsi, and Sanhua doesn't give Jinhsi a lot of stacks. For Verena replacements, we start with Baiji. She generates less stacks than Verena by a considerable margin and has a longer field time, but she will still be a fine replacement. One thing that is important to her is that the English text does not properly reflect the fact that her ultimate counts as coordinated attacks. Now let's talk about her kit. Her basics do exist, but they're pretty useless, so really do not bother leveling them. As for her skill, it makes you dash forward. If used after her 4th basic attack or her intro skill, you will enter an enhanced mode. But since we do not use those normals, you will just wait until her intro skill is up to bring her in and to do her stuff. As for her ultimate, it's just one massive nuke, nothing much to say here. Now to her forte skill. When Jinhsi is in her enhanced state, which is caused by the skill, meaning you hit that skill right after her intro, once she does that, her basics, dodge counter, skill, etc. will all be converted and now count as skill damage. Her animations become also incredibly flashy. In that enhanced state, you can fire a massive laser from her personal pocket dragon. But before you can do that, you have to do 4 basic attacks once she's powered up. Absolutely worth the extra steps. It's an absolute blast and looks amazing, but if you want it to deal the highest damage, you need to get her so-called incandescence stack counter up. And you get those stacks when a teammate deals damage. That way Jinhsi gains 1 stack once every 3 seconds for each element. But if you want to keep stacking while Jinhsi is on the field, you definitely want teammates who can help her from off-field. That's where coordinated attacks come into play. Those coordinated attacks will also give her a higher reward of 2 stacks at a time instead of just 1 stack. And for exactly that reason, guys like Yinlin, Verena and Baiji are amazing with her. Once you fire her nuke, you will get Unison that Jinhsi needs for her outro, which Jinhsi can have triggered once every 25 seconds. And yeah, that outro skill lowers the stack generation cooldown to 1 second. So we really want that thing going. And it also marks the length of her rotation. And speaking of rotation, this is how it goes now. Get her concerto up and set up some of the coordinated damage magic from her teammates. Swap her in when she has her intro skill up, hit the skill button and switch into an enhanced mode. Do a bunch of normals and tap skill on cooldown until you can do her laser. If you can drop the burst in the meantime, do so and then finish the whole combo off with her laser and then swap her out. Now, for the rest of her talents, her intro does damage. Surprise, surprise. Inherent Talent 1, you get 20% spectral damage bonus for free. And for Inherent Talent 2, her intro skill gets an extra 50% multiplier. Now to the age-old question, what should you get, her R1 or S1? The weapon banner in this game is a lot kinder to players, and you can buy sequences from the shop anyway. So pulling for the weapon will get you further. And on top, the R1 is also the more powerful option. Now let's talk further about her sequences. The S1 will give Jinhsi's nuke 80% damage bonus, but actually not much else. It sounds much, but it's actually not. While the nuke is a big part of her kit, you would think that the 80% would be worth more, but in reality, it is only an 18% overall damage increase from her S0. The S2 gives Jinhsi max skill stacks when out of combat for 4 seconds. Amazing for overworld, but in Tower of Adversity it will only work on her first skill use, which means it's not really a big damage increase most of the time. S3 gives Jinhsi 25% attack after casting her intro skill up to 2 times. A 20% damage increase, very solid. S4 will give the entire team 20% damage bonus after using the ultimate. Good, since she wants to be played with strong sub DPS characters, but this late into sequences, you probably just want Jinhsi herself to be better, a 7% damage increase. The S5 adds a 120% multiplier to Jinhsi's ultimate, very bad, it's only at 1% damage increase. This S6 adds 45% multiplier to Jinhsi's enhanced skill and an additional 45% per skill stack. Since the skill stacks up to 50 times, that is insane. A 54% damage increase. Jinhsi hasn't just the looks, she is also a very busted unit. If you like her, get her. If you enjoyed this guide, leave a like, leave a sub, the whole shebang. It's a new channel. So anyways, this has been Neo Star Impact. signing out. Peace.